Hello, my name is Suneku, and this is going to be the first video of a few introducing some of the basics of playing Hammer on Monster Hunter Rise. Might get into Sunbreak stuff a little bit later, but for now we're just starting with Rise and the basics of that. So we're going to be in the training room, going over basic combos, the ideas of what a Hammer player's goals are in a hunt, and anything else that I can remember, because I can't remember stuff right now. So to start, we're going to do a few things. We're going to command our pets to wait so that they're not attacking non-stop. They'll just hang out here. The second thing we're going to do is talk to the trainer, go into training options, and for the sake of this video, we're going to have the head position down to low rather than high. And the only other thing we're going to change is change Wirebug Gauge to infinite use, just so that we don't have to wait for cooldowns. So the hammer is one of the weapons in Monster Hunter. Very simple to start off with. It is a bit slow and has a lot of end lag, meaning all of your attacks will end and have you stuck in a position for a while. So keep that in mind compared to something like Dual Blades or Sword and Shield. The goal of the hammer is to attack the monster's head, and specifically the head, in order to build up KO damage and eventually knock out the monster. In Rise especially, KOs are one of the best knockdowns for monsters, as compared to other knockdowns or status effects or traps. The duration of the knockdown is always the same. That's a fairly long amount. So it's really helpful for yourself as well as the rest of your team to have a guaranteed amount of time for the monster to be knocked out. So for the basics of using the hammer, you can unsheath it by pressing X. If you're moving while you're unsheathing it, you'll start with a swing. And then your very basic combo is just pressing X 3 times. So you down smash, a second, and then an upswing that we like to call a golf swing. There are variations of this where you can start with a side swing with A, and then press X again to go into the upswing. But usually if you're coming out of sheath, you're just using X, you get that first side swing. And there's also a follow-up attack. Now as you can see, the monster has a bunch of sparks around their head, and they're in an immobilized state. That's how you know that the monster has been knocked out, or I also call it a KO. Hammers are very good at doing this. The upswing especially gets a lot of KO damage. See, even just a few hits knock this monster out. Now, different monsters will have different KO thresholds, so keep that in mind. It won't always be as easy with some as others. And it does depend on how much damage you do. Now doing this 3-attack combo into the upswing leaves you in a point where you can't move very much, or can't move at all for a long period of time. And you definitely don't want to be stuck in that animation. So there's a few things you can do with that. You can either press B to roll out of it, which is like halfway through your animation of coming back, you'll roll. Or you can continue your combo string by using the charge button, which is ZR, where you go into a charge state with your hammer. So I'll do swings, the upswing, and then hold the R, and then I'll immediately go into that. If I let go immediately after the charge and press X again, I go back into my swinging combo. And you can do this pretty much infinitely. And that way you won't get stuck in any downtime and lag sort of animation. Even if you go into the charge swing. You don't have to release it. That can be another option for dodging after your last swing. So you charge and you think you want to attack, but then the monster might be doing something, so you can dodge right out of it, and you'll be fine. The charge attack is the other part of the hammer's attacking kit. And there's a third element that we'll also want to talk about after that. But the charge attack is another element of the kit. When you press ZR, even when your weapon is sheathed, you'll go into this charge animation. And as you can see, there are 3 different flashes that appear. A red one, an orange one, and then a white one. So your charge has 3 levels, and depending on what level you release your charge attack at, you'll do different things. One more thing I want to mention about the charge attack before we go into those levels is that while you're holding this charge, your stamina, if you can look at the top left of the screen, is slowly depleting. So keep that in mind. You can't hold this charge forever. You can walk around with it, but your stamina will deplete at the same rate. And rolling also takes stamina, so keep that in mind when you're trying to manage how much stamina you have for attacks and such. Of course, if you run out of stamina, your character goes into this tired state. It takes a long time for them to get out of it. So even though your bar is coming back, if it goes all the way out, you won't be able to move. So just make sure your stamina doesn't run out. Alright, so with the first level of charge, just a normal swing called the charge side blow. You can extend the distance of how far it goes by what direction you're holding. So if I'm not holding a direction, it doesn't go very far. But if I do hold like forward, you do go a bit of distance. The second level of charge is a charge upswing. And this is the same deal. If you don't put in any direction, it won't go very far. If you do put in a direction, it will go a distance. And then the level 3 is the most unique, where if you don't hold anything or hold any direction and you let go, you get what's called a charge big bang, where your upswing does some damage and then the downswing does the most damage. In the case of when you're holding a direction while in level 3, you will start doing the spinning attack. And eventually it will end. So let's take a second to recap a few things about each level. For level 1, after you let go of it, you can go back into your basic combo of the swings. For level 2, you'll also go back into the basic combo, a little slower. But with level 3, you cannot combo it into anything. With the standstill, the only thing you can do is go back into charge. Or roll out of it. And there's a few things you can do for the level 3 for the spinning attack. So the spinning attack also works in the case of sort of like levels, depending on when you press X to get out of the spinning attack. If you press X to get out of the spinning attack right away, you'll do this flat swing and go into your 3-hit combo. If you wait a little bit longer, you'll get this side swing that goes into the 3-hit combo. And if you wait for about 3 to 4 spins, 1, 2, 3, you'll do this strong upswing that you won't be able to do anything out of it. So it's kind of like a finisher move. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. And you can go back into charge or roll. Now the third set of attacks that you have as a hammer is the attacks when you press the A button. I almost call it the circle button because PlayStation controls. And this is called the Big Bang attack. So after your side smash, you'll do a series of overhead swings onto the monster. You'll do 3 of them and then do a Big Bang finisher. Now this is a very strong attack to do when the monster is knocked down, because you'll get stuck in one spot. You can't really do anything out of the... I don't believe you can pause in the middle of the Big Bang combo. Try again. Yeah, so you can't go into charge very quickly. You can't go into the X combo at all, but you can roll out of it, of course. So you'll only really want to use that when a monster is knocked down and you know you'll have time to hit it. The dangerous thing about this combo is that if you don't hit a monster, it will not continue. So no matter how much I mash A here, it won't continue. It'll only continue if you are hitting a monster or some sort of target. So you also want to make sure all of your hits are hitting for that. I believe there's one more thing I'm forgetting. I think the level 3 charge. Trying to remember. Let's say you do the strong upswing. Yeah, so you can press into A to do the last 2 hits of the Big Bang attack. So that's also an option for you if you have the time to finish that combo up. So those are the basics of hammer and the attacks that you have. Keep in mind this is only the basics of the attacks that you have when your hammer is yellow up in the top left. When your hammer... You can change your hammer's style into a strength hammer by holding your charge and pressing the A button. You'll pump your hammer and then it'll get a purple glow, and in the top left you can see your hammer is now purple. And this gives you a whole new set of charge attacks. It's a little bit of variation from the normal ones that you would have. They're pretty similar, but a few are different, such as the level 3 does what's called a charged brutal Big Bang, which is really nice. And the level 3, while you're moving, doesn't do the spinning attack anymore. It just does this thing called a step smash, an upswing down to a downswing. Similar to if you're in the yellow hammer and you did a level 3 without touching a direction. Now to get back into the yellow hammer, you just do the same thing, hold your charge and press A. But what makes this different is that when you go back to the yellow hammer, you'll automatically be at level 3 charge. When you go to the purple hammer, you'll be back at level 1. When back to yellow, automatically level 3. This is going to be very useful for more advanced combos, so just keep that in mind. It's very helpful. And there's other little intricate features to it that we won't talk about right now because they're not very basic. Okay, so that's all the basic moves for hammer right now. We'll go into another video where we'll talk about more advanced things. I'll talk more about the purple hammer there. But for now, that should be a good start for you to just get used to using the hammer. And next time we'll talk about those things as well as strategies for hitting the monster as well, so that you're the most effective when you're trying to bonk the monster's head. But until then, thank you for watching. This is Suneku again, and I hope I can give you another hammer video in the future. Bye bye.